Lake Okeechobee is the heart of the Kissimmee Okeechobee Everglades ecosystem. The lake covers about 700 square miles. It averages about 9 feet deep. It's about 45 miles across. It is the second biggest freshwater lake in the contiguous United States, second only to Lake Michigan. The Herbert Hoover Dike is an earthen dam that completely surrounds Lake Okeechobee. It's 143 miles long. The only gap is at Fish Eating Creek. That's the only creek where there's actually a free flow of water coming into Lake Okeechobee. Everything else is a controlled water flow. The Lake Okeechobee Scenic Trail, or the Lost Trail as it is known, follows the dike all the way around the lake. So of course it's 143 miles long. The Florida Trail goes along the Herbert Hoover Dike part of the way, and during that time it's actually merged with the Lost Trail. So the Herbert Hoover Dike was actually started back in the 1920s. They've just been adding parts to it up through the 1960s. But it's starting to fail in certain places, so they've started a rehabilitation project. That rehabilitation project is going to strengthen the dam all the way around, and it's about a 25-year project. So portions of the dike are closed because of the rehab project. Because of that, we couldn't start at the southern tip like we wanted to. The closures actually go from the southern tip up the west side through Clewiston and Moorhaven. So we actually will be starting our hike at Lakeport. From Lakeport, we will travel north where the Florida Trail and the Lost Trail are combined. We'll follow that all the way up till we get to the Kissimmee River. At the Kissimmee, the Lost Trail continues to go around the lake, but we are going to head north on the Florida Trail until we reach State Road 70, where our hike will come to an end. All right, we're getting started with this section of the Florida Trail. We are starting at Lock S131, heading north. Construction south of here kept us from starting any further south, so we'll start here, head north, see how far we get. Thanksgiving Day weekend, starting on Friday morning. There is Lake Okeechobee. There's a nice little turtle. I'll not get too close. Looks like laying some eggs there. So this is the hike. We're on top of the levees, actually the Herbert Hoover Dike, and we have Lake Okeechobee off to our right, and the canal waterway system off to the left. It's not a very exciting hike, but the reason we're doing it is much of the Florida Trail is still inundated with water at this time of year. So this is a place to get out, get some high and dry walking just to start the hiking season. While the water is drained, we get into the dry season, then we will start hitting other parts of the Florida Trail. So we just got to mile marker 132, got rid of the sidewalk, still on top of the Herbert Hoover Dike. Now we get to walk on some grass and gravel. This dike is about 30 feet up, so you can see Lake Okeechobee over there. It's about 45 miles across. At this elevation, 30 feet up, a 6-foot tall man can see the horizon at about 7.2 miles, or 7.4 miles I think it is. So obviously we can't see across the expanse to the other side of the lake. But it's still a very nice view. We've got a nice breeze up here coming off the lake. Nice and sunny. So far, a good day. Airboat, you can barely see see it, but we can see the flag going by. Must be a little bit of a channel or a canal on the other side. We're at about mile 136 on the Florida Trail. We're walking atop of Herbert Hoover Dike. And just looking out, we've lost track of the lake. All we have is marshlands as far as we can see. So the lake is no longer in sight. But we're going to keep on trekking. All right, we are at the S129 water structure, and here we have access to water. Here we are camped for the night. We have a nice view. I said that the dike was about 30 feet high, so this gives you an idea of the height if we walk up it. Here's the view from the top of the dike. We have a few cows over there watching, wondering what's going on. But there's a little bit of shade provided by these palm trees. There's a little shelter with a picnic table and a fire ring. Not much firewood. But they actually do cut the grass in this section by this shelter. So it's actually very comfortable down there on the grass. And here is a shelter for the night. Nice view. And we've already seen a few mosquitoes and some biting flies. So I broke out the little lightweight bivvy. So I'll sleep in that tonight to keep the bugs off of me. Okay, started day 2. Very wet grass this morning. We were soaked. We got up this morning just from all the dew. See, the sun is pretty hazy coming through the fog, but it's nice and cool. Should be a good start. As you can see, is a long, straight walk on top of this Herbert Hoover Dike. You got water on one side, still can't see the lake on the other side. Mostly just marshlands. And here we have a covered bench. I think we'll stop and take a break. The sun's starting to beat down on us. That is a raccoon. Okay, we see something we haven't seen much at all over the last 2 days. There's actually a turn in the trail. It goes off to the right over by that tower where there's a water structure. And we're going to stop and take a break over there. Pretty exciting. We see a curve. Okay, here we are at the S127 water structure. And they have water, and according to the nice lady that's here, this is city water. You see there's no sign that says it's non-potable, and it looks really good in the bottle, so I think we're safe. There's a place just around the corner with some shade. We're going to stop and take a break. Pretty good view of what these water structures look like. They're pretty big, and they actually let the boats come through. So we've actually got a boat coming through right now, which is why you heard the buzz. So go through over towards the lake, coming from over here on the canal side. You see the boat coming through. These structures, I think there's about 23 of them on the lake going around the dike. They're replacing all of them. It takes about 2 years to replace one of these water structures. So a lot of time and commitment to refurbishing this dam. Okay, we're coming up on mile marker 150. This is the Scott Driver Recreation Area where they have bathrooms and potable water. And we got a good view of the lake. Finally, we haven't seen it for quite some time. A lot of boat traffic today. We actually had a boat pull over and offer us some cold drinks. Very nice of them. Crossing over the Kissimmee River, and there we are going to follow it to the north, see if we can find a place to camp. There's a nice break watching the boats come in and out of the lake and the river. And now we are working our way back up to the dike. Back up on top of the dike after visiting Scott Driver Park. It's about 5 miles left before we stop for the night. Should be a pretty easy hike. A nice sunrise this morning right over the Kissimmee River. This is where we spent the night last night. Nice grassy knoll. Heard a few alligators splashing around in the woods, or I guess I should say the swampy areas. Heard a few coyotes last night, and there were a lot of mosquitoes. Otherwise, pretty good night. And here we go. The last morning of our hike. As you can see, it looks very similar to the last 15 or 20 miles. Straight and flat. But we do have views of the Kissimmee River. We see boats cruising by every now and then, and a few cows on the other side. Otherwise, this is it. Coming up on one of the water control structures on the Kissimmee River. I'm always impressed by the engineering behind these structures and the Herbert Hoover Dike in general. However, as we walk along the Kissimmee River, and it's straight as an arrow, not an oxbow to be seen. It's also pretty sad, the impact that we've had on what once was a pretty amazing ecosystem. Okay, we are at the S65E lock over the Kissimmee River, and from here we are turning east to go through cattle country. Looks like the last gate we have to go through before we get to Highway 70, just a short ways up. Things we do have in Florida are fire ants. Pretty good sized bed. And it's the end of the trail for this weekend. We came from all the way down that small road there, crossing Highway 70. And this is where we are waiting for our ride.